2 Chronicles, part 4, and you see here like that and like that. I'm not sure if this uh, prophet is going to be around, but that's another prophet. Now, such thing as a seer. Um, Oops, told should be green. Um, and these are, forgot to put that up. That's the reasons why the blue is going out. The yellow is the words that I'm adding to meet the format. And you can see I'm not sure what's going on with the format here with this many verses. So I don't know if it goes up, down, whatever here, but yes, I'm not sure what's going on here um, for the final answers. Um, let's see. And this is Asa has disease in his feet, and it's bad, and he has his disease is why he died. And he was buried. He didn't sleep. He was buried. Our bodies die. Our soul does not die. This number 3 is according to our Creator's hidden formats. So all dates on kings will have to be checked through that book. He was anointed. A king is always anointed to become a king. So as long as they're a good guy, a good priest, or a good king of Judah. Let me see here. Do I have the list? I don't need to put that up. He lived. That's pretty much, he lived like an example. No, like his forefather, and have to add the word for. Should I add for David? So yeah, this should have an S. This should have an S here. This should have been yellow. Tried living by his commands. Not his ways. Our Creator give us commands, them the commands to live by, give us commands to live by as well. And this is the female goddess's name here. I forgot to turn this book on here, or this computer on, so I could show you this, how they designate her. They actually tie it to like a Phoenician god, I think. 16, 17. Oh, and they even capitalized her this time. Most of the times they don't do that. Although, yes, they do. They do that all the time. Yeah, Phoenician goddess. And that's not true. It didn't go back. Egypt was most powerful, then Babylon. So this is just um, wrong here. But that is the female goddess name. So if you don't understand that, you might want to follow me a little bit more, because if you don't know right today, our popes and all popes have been meditating to have sex with a so-called female goddess. That is what happened to Israel, and they left. He sent them away, and that's what happened to Judah. The kings and people started going on to female goddess, and they went into captivity. I think that's the end of that. Whoops. You can't see that now. Okay. Scribes. Okay. There are scrolls. These were all scrolls. It was the corrupt scribes that made the manuscripts. Fortresses and storehouses. Um, Storehouses, what are they? He did, build like supply rooms that would have this extra storage of wheat and grain, but that it's just that he just kept growing stronger, Jehoshaphat there, and it has some years. It's actually 2 years later he went to Ahab in Samaria. Now here we have Samaria finally on the map, and this is no, that's not the map. This is the map that he's going to travel to Samaria, and now they're going to go over to this city to battle. I just put it there because the story dictates this. And see this path right here that's very important in the story that's going to come up here. Not sure if it's in this book or not. King Ahab, no, it's not. That's going to be later. That's Jehu is going to be there. So being anointed king, and then he comes and kills the king at that time and becomes king because he was anointed. And Gads, not this. They put this here. It's a city, but the object is if you've seen what I just did. Um, I showed you this, but this is East Manasseh, and then let's see, where is it? Because they're going to start coming and conquering all. But this is the area here that I'm talking about that they're going to go to. So, but the object is, I named it the tribe's land. And I'm just replacing the word he with Jehoshaphat, Jehoshaphat, and meet the format. I am thinking what you are thinking. These words are in the text, so yes, I'm adding these two words here. Maybe I should make them that is there, but I am as you are. That's the sentence, but I didn't want to use I or am and you as the two major words, though. When I was thinking of what to put in, the word thinking came up and stuck it in there. And this is Aram's, that's who they're battling. That's what the story talks about above. Inquire is to ask. Moreover, and then, let's see here. This is 18:4. So let's take a look over here at 18:4. Moreover. Nope. It's a made up word anyway. So there you go. Because I'm thinking of some other place I know that this then would be a green. So maybe that's why it's highlighted this so I could purposely look it up. Sometimes I highlight these a different color in different videos. So if you watch that, that's sometimes I want to go to that book or show you the book or the computer program. Against is to battle, refrain, but I will not battle. So I'm not adding the word not battle. So it's understandable. I'm trying to make the text read easy enough for a 12-year-old to read. So you'd say, well, what's wrong with those? What's wrong with the word refrain? I'm just trying to make it simple. So some of this stuff when you're going through and checking my answers or what I'm doing here, why I'm specifically using these words, it's to bring them on board and let them understand about our Creator and what He done for the Hebrew people so we understand who our Creator is. And what his will is for us on earth so we can enter into heaven. I better say all that as well. I'm using his name and not just the word king, so the subject still stays as who he is. Now we have another prophet, and I'm chopping down his name off of this. A lot of times I'm doing that again to help even me be able to say these names quicker and faster and not so encrypted meanings. Now, why do I have this highlighted? I don't know why I have that highlighted. That should just be, maybe I hit that. Let me see, 1818. Let me see if the text is actually in the book. Maybe that's the problem that I've got here with this. Well, better bring it along. 1818, and it was said bring. 1818 down here. Oh, 18:8. Excuse me. I'm kind of like, how come the text isn't lining up here? Yeah. Okay. That's what's going on. Yep. This should have been green. So just like that. It was added by me. Sorry about that. I couldn't figure out because I said that color is a special alert notice to make sure I speak specifically on those words that I couldn't. Anyways, okay. Enough rambling. Not go up. They went to battle. This is pretty much go up, whatever their battle. But here, the thing here is if you understand the land structure at the time, yes, this area is a mount, and it's kind of like a mount and another mount. So, but it's a mount. One is just really big, considering that. So, go up from here. They went down and they went up. So it was kind of that's what they used as the word up sometimes to mean, but it actually means to battle. I demand you adjourn. I'm pretty sure. Let me see if I can do that over here. 15. No, it doesn't. It's got all these words here. Promise, swear, swore, but actually none of that is. No, I like the word demand, so yellow is the right word. Are you right color there? Nothing to only. That's kind of a far distance. 15. And here you can see how many words they've got for nothing. And I'm looking for an O's next. Or otherwise, that's not quite only, but no. So I guess that needs to be yellow. They don't have their own house. It's a pen for their animals. Okay. So they don't have return to their, uh, house in peace. They have no master. Um, the herders, I'm keeping it to the story, not that you try to make up things for the meaning, because this would, as you reference it, you would know that it means to their house in peace, but I'll let them return to their pen. Because if I put house, it doesn't make any sense. Put peace doesn't really. So I just like the word pen. So better be yellow. Like I said, a lot of this is encrypting it to make sure that it can't be backwards encrypted. Um, so the word only and then hearsay. Maybe I better make that this and this, and that way, so I get all of it, so I know how to search for it and get to that and correct that. I will make sure that in the next text it will be yellow. All right, now back to here. Need that. Let's see. Save. Make sure that happens to this one. I'm hoping I'm sounding coherent in this video. I think I'm catching myself talking to my own self instead of talking to you. Sorry about that. In this video, I try to make sure I'm talking to you and not just to myself. Angels, hosts, yeah, I better use that yellow. And they weren't called hosts. Host is the tricky word for the stars being gods. You got to understand what their thoughts were 2,000 years ago, and especially the pagan belief of what happens to when you meditate and have sex with a female goddess. That's when you think that, or they used to think, that's when they have a soul, and then they can live forever. That's why they believe in reincarnation on the other side of the earth here, or in Asia, because you don't have a soul yet. And only when you do that, well, there's in the video I have below, um, a 13-year-old male can now know that he has a soul. And that news is spreading around the world, or like right now anyway. I know it is all over the world now, but that after life video where people or males are being able to say, our creator made me see him. So this is not a game. That's just that it's not well known on earth at this time. It's still, they're still trying to figure out what I did or what our creator did by sending me. Um, so, but that's my job, is to correct the text and be truthful as I can be. And I see I got Gad with all capital letters here. I gotta get back and correct that a little bit. I seen Gad, I spelled little a and little d before above. Not entice, but to fool Ahab. This was trickery that was being done. And Satan is not a spirit, but it's Satan. See, they didn't believe Satan is an actual being who added this text. So it was just a spirit. But we know Satan exists. I've seen him face to face more than once. But the object is Satan as a being. That's also mentioned in the afterlife video. So when you're out there in the abyss, you can call for him and he will maybe show up for you too. Entice, I kept the word fool, so that's just keeping with what I've done in one edit to this edit. But they're prophets, or they aren't prophets when he's calling these other guys together. Those will be seers. Um, these have nothing. A seer has nothing to do with our Creator. Our Creator's speaking to prophets, and um, seers are really see her type of thing, and it's many of them seeing the female goddess see her, so they're see hers. That's just some of the trickery of the words that uh, I will be explaining. That's inside the words themselves. Um, Gonna return him to his house. I commanded him to take him home. Now, I know the story says take him to a prison, don't feed him spirit. That isn't important because the story doesn't say what happens later. Um, because Ahab is going to die, and this is not continuing. So let's not make up any extra garbage in between. Because if you see these are kind of like fillers, extra things that they could put into the text themselves. And because the story just keeps continuing. If you take all this out, it just keeps continuing. So that's something to be aware of and studied. The blue text of being added into the text. I guess Aram. See, that's city. They would have had a hyphen, and this is what you can see the city here. But we know it's in Gad. His captains, well, it's actually his strongest when he, yeah, I better separate that word. Um, he's talking about disguising himself to go in battle, or you disguised as me and I'm disguised as you and going to battle. And the king of Aram had just commanded his strongest and his fiercest. They weren't captains because captains are in other places controlling the battle of their men, to where you have to remember they lined up against each other. So a captain pretty much stood above her and waited as the men were fighting, and then have them blow the horn or signal them somehow to change battle, do this or do that. So um, I would have put his guards here, but what he'd done, I've got him doing is grabbing his strongest and say, okay, I'm going to put you guys together and you guys are going to go out there and look for him. Remember, these kings wear robes when they're in battles. They're saying, here I am the king, come fight me. So the thing here is they too would have their strongest around them, but the object is he's telling his strongest to leave him and go fight others, and with the lesser men and greater men, um, and then be more fierce when they're fighting, because the story here is that when they seen Jehoshaphat, whatever, they went after him and then they turned away from the fight. So because of Jehoshaphat cried out to YV, and then it was that those songs saw that he was not the king of Israel, and they stopped pursuing, turned back as to stop, or stopped pursuing him. So, but an archer hit him and wounded him and struck him. So not that the archer drew from his bow at random and struck. I have a shot from his bow. That it's the arrow that I'm talking about. An archer's arrow from his bow. See, I could have put the word arrow here. Archer's arrow from his bow. Maybe I will do that. Maybe I will change that. Um, and he was propped up. The king, I'm putting his name in here, so that's not a big deal. But the thing here is then in the evening, as the sun set, he died. But this doesn't match the format, but the story is truthful. that they won the battle. So the thing there, that has to be said. I've got these question marks to make sure that when you understand Assyria comes down and kind of takes this. Up until then, nobody conquers this. So they fought and they had a battle there, but okay, I've lost my map. There we go. That they didn't lose the territory. So I had to add that into the text to understand that we won the battle, though. Okay. Because if you understood the story above, I guess you got the text from you can read that that's what was supposed to happen, that he was supposed to die. That's why he was fooled to go into battle, for him to die. And now it's kind of all right, but they still won the war. The land wasn't lost, but a new king is going to be replacing him. And that should be coming up here. And he returned unharmed because he's going to go in battle again below. Remember, this guy here's refortified a lot of cities and build up store rooms and stuff so they could battle without having to go through a harvest time. They could battle. There's a lot of text that's not needed. And then this one is a 4-verse grouping, and it's just stuck out here in the middle. But I couldn't get rid of one verse here, okay? And because he's a good guy, he's anointed, not just that he became. Once you understand that Samuel anointed Saul with oil, and that's his oil that lit the lamps that's in his meeting room, is the oil that's used. So it's special oil to designate this anointment. So it has to be understood that all the good kings for Judah were anointed as kings. And he didn't walk, he lived like his forefathers. Oops, I see I got the wrong color there. Now let's see, he dies now, his son Joash. Okay. Now this guy here, I wasn't sure about, so I didn't highlight this as yellow. I was still testing out the story to see if this is actually going to be this guy or not. Let me show you here the King's List. This list here is exceptional because it's got the dates correctly set. This is exactly how many years back and forth. And there might be one of them that's off by 1 year. Okay. And I'm thinking it's this guy here, but out of all these dates and everything, there's only 1 year that's off. So this guy is the next guy, but I didn't know if we're talking about this guy on the other side or not, and that's what his name was going to be, because I think they're using this guy here right now. No, it's Ram, but I don't know if they're so close sometimes that it took me a lot of time to figure out the king's order and the correct names. That is years worth of work in trying to figure that out. So, but you notice I only have 2 verses here, so there's got to be a fourth, or I got to make a verse up here. So, just for you to know, maybe I don't even use that. I don't know. But the thing here is we know which kingdom it is. It's Judah. So, not to confuse people of what king we're talking about and what kingdom he is in, or not kingdom, but nation he is in. Here again, 4-verse pops up, 4-verse pops up. So maybe that 4-verse goes with this 4-verse grouping. That's how scattered some of this is. Um, like I said, this will be from, I added this because of that, and let me see, to get his 39 years, okay? Because these are the stories that's going to happen here. See how that name is, could have been close to his name as well. This is close because it's just changing a few letters here and adding a few letters. Anyways, that's the scribe's problem to figure out, to be correct. Okay, the text below, I needed to use my King's List. So this here, a lot of this in this text that's going to come up, I don't know how far down it goes. I don't think it goes very far, but these kings that are going to be coming up in this section were hard to understand when you see them. And then you can see later I edited it and then stuck them in different places. So I carried this note over. So when I got to it, I realized what was going on. So this verse group moved down 3. So that was moved down here, and I cleaned up the text so it's easier to see. Then I moved this down to the 4th group down. So where is that text? Maybe I don't have these. Moved here. Okay. Sometimes I should have. Okay, this is gray highlighted. This is gray highlighted. That's okay. So that group moved down to here. Of course, I needed the word anointed. Now, because Ahaz is the king on the Israeli side, that's this guy here. Okay, so that means that because he was a good king, we don't really know who was anointed except for Jehu on that side. Because he's a good king, I'm saying he was anointed just like Jehu was anointed. So the thing here is when I put a capital letter on their name, these are the good kings that are trying to bring Israel back to being to our Creator. These guys here, no, they didn't care. We know that this guy is going to be anointed. So this guy's married to Jezreel. So, anyways, you can tell that I'm guessing here that he's anointed because this guy was anointed, and I'm thinking this guy was anointed. So, um, so that is why I'm adding him as anointed, and he's in Samaria, which is the second capital city. The kings stayed up in that area ever since they went off into battle for Gad. They stayed up in that area. So did evil, unlike his father. This name was just um, I'm using it here, so I can't use it here. So, but the object is you get the idea what's going on. These I'm saying is missing text because I need this verse here. I need need this group, or no, I need, yeah. When I'm looking for all 3 of these groups here, um, there's me correcting that. Is the H was taken out of this name to get where I was going. Anyways, I'm talking to myself instead of to you. Sorry about that. The son of Ahab, he waged war against the last. Let me see. Again, we're going back to this fight here. Okay. So, and then it was the other guy's name, I think, was Ben Hedzi or whatever, something with a Ben with a hyphen. And I think maybe this was the last Ben Hayes. It seems like, anyways, I don't want to get into that right now. Let me get going here. I only got 4 minutes more for this video. Where am I at? Oh, we're halfway through. Yeah, Ryzen is the last king. So I don't know if this is going to be changed or not. This is another descendant. Let me show you something here. Whoops, how come that's, what happened? Okay, I know I changed, groups, and when I change groups, it doesn't keep the old list up. I've kind of made a note on this one down here of the kings at the bottom. These are all the kings for Aram, so you can see what I've got. The confusion is when I'm doing the story, I don't know which order or what fight was and how to put these kings in here, but this is our creator's hidden formats. And I literally that took a lot of work to get those guys right as well. So I'm just saying that I do have a correct order of the kings for Aram. I just don't know at this time when that's going to correct it, or if this means that this one is actually going to stick around here at this time. And Arams become the Armenians, so you can see that Arams had different names, but different kings' names for Aram. Let's see. Okay, that's what the correction was on the J. Here is the correct name being used, and up here is where I had to correct it. Okay, so it wasn't the other king when I was talking to myself. Hey, it was getting ahead of the story. Here it's being used right, and here I needed to correct it. In Jezreel, they tried to make the second capital. It is not. It's Samara. Because this is going to, yes, this is going to be about Jehu. Now we're getting to the guy that's a really good king here. We're at this type here now. We went from like this guy, mentioned this guy, and now we're in his last days. We have this guy here. So that's the order or where we're at in the king's list. And you can see that a lot of this text, oops, what's going on here? Oh, come on now. That's what I want. And I just blew up that, and that isn't needed. What the hell is that doing? What I want to do is get to the king's list again. And you notice we're still in this area. So this has, all these stories do go together in Chronicles. So you can see that this text that we're going through in Chronicles, Chronicles, is it really the correct listing of what's going on? These kings are grouped that way. Some of them go back and forth and too high, too low, way out of order. But right now, this group is pretty much here in Chronicles. So do we have the real book Chronicles right here? I would say so. Okay. But with a lot of junk stuck into it. But Jehu, who YB had anointed. Now this story is not complete here, but the story of when he gets anointed is in another book. So it's not all Chronicles. So, and this is Chronicles 2, so it's not in Chronicles that he gets anointed. Gonna have to be in Kings, I think. Probably in Kings 1. Okay, 40 minutes is up. Yeah, I'm going to continue with Jehu here, so I'm going to stop here at 27 or 22:7 and continue from there. Not a very good video. Sorry about that.